What's up, everybody? Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. There is a lot that we need to talk about, so let's do this, shall we? Now, hopefully, I hope y'all yelled out Jumanji when it hit midnight for like the New Year's. Because, we thought that 2020 was just horrible and everything so way, and we thought that 2021 was going to be alright. However, that was wrong. Because within the first week of 2021, not the first month, but the first week of 2021, the most idiotic thing happened at Capitol Hill. If you don't know this story, you about to know the story. So sit back and relax, boys and girls. So hours before the riot, Trump had, he had this speech going on, and he's talking to all these protesters in Washington, telling them to march to Congress and, for all this to happen. And hundreds of, supporters of Trump stormed the building as they were made by his supporters online. Now, Gab and Parler, which were sites used for alt-right, gave directions as to what streets to take to avoid the police and what tools to bring in order to pry open the doors and exchange, and they were all in comments and sections and everything so on way. And along with that, at least a dozen people were, posted about carrying guns into the halls of Congress. Now, this attack came into the middle of an ongoing vote to certify the results of the 2020 presidential election. It has hit both lawmakers and members of the press scrambling for safety because, as Trump said, the votes don't count. He was telling Georgia how most of their accounts are missing, and it's just a lot, going on with that. And now, for some reason, this attack has been happening for months on end, apparently. Pouring gas to the fire. Trump, who has courted fringe moments with the QAnon and his Proud Boys groups, have openly organized on social media, networks and recruited others to join the cause. Now, during the whole riot, Trump tweeted that Pence didn't have the courage to do what he was going to do. And so dozens of people on Gab, when they were in the Capitol building, were trying to hunt down Pence. You can actually hear in the video that's, some of the videos roaming around, you can actually hear someone saying, "Where is Pence?" And to add more fuel to the fire and all this craziness, Trump said, and he quoted, and I quote, he said that these are things that happen. When a sacred landslide victory is stripped away, it's all right. It's crazy and a lie. It's untrue, and this is what happens. Yeah. No, it doesn't. And, with all this happening, this election was never stolen. Biden and Harris worked hard and diligently for this election, everything's on the way, while Trump went on and berated people and hardly cared for the nation within those 4 years. And I know people are going to tell me that I'm wrong and everything's on the way, but with that attack that happened at Capitol Hill, are you serious? Are you serious about that? Now, with all these protesters, when they breached the Capitol, they entered through the Senate chamber and streaming through the statuary hall. They broke windows, and all these people are doing so much of these chaotic things. Like, one man sat in the very chair where Pence was sitting just a few minutes beforehand, while another was in Nancy Pelosi's desk, and he was putting her feet up on there. He wrote a vulgar message on there, and he stole a letter, I believe, from her desk. And on that the message that was left on Pelosi's desk, it said, "We will not back down." And lawmakers, reporters, and staffers sheltered throughout the whole, building as more and more of the Trump supporters went on, trying to bang on these doors and shouting everything some way. And the lawmakers and everything, they were out there defending themselves, and, they were trying to get, the Capitol Police officers to come out there and so much more. Now, during the whole gunfire, police officers barricaded the doors to the House chamber, and guns were drawn and blocking rioters from entering. Authorities later confirmed that a woman was shot and killed by a U.S. Capitol Police, along with many other people as well. Tear gas was also deployed, and rotunda and improvised explosive device was found on the Capitol grounds. So, just a lot going off on that. It was just so much. When Black Lives Matter did that, protests and everything, the whole military was all out there and whatnot, defending, making sure nobody got in. However, when this attack with Capitol Hill happened, where they at? Where are they at? Basically, where are they at? Now, again, there's a lot of going on here. Like, apparently there's some people talking about how certain police officers in the Capitol were letting most of the protesters in, like the rioters in. Some of us like they were actually doing their job, and I know watching the videos and everything, most of these officers were doing their job. And now, to continue on what I was talking about, how there was confirmed about people being killed during the whole riot and everything. 3 of them have died in medical emergencies, as the DC police said. And those 3 that were identified were Benjamin Phillips, who was 50 years old, of Rington, Pennsylvania, Kevin Greason, 55, of Athens, Alabama, and Roseanne Boyland, 34, of Kennesaw, Georgia. And there was a woman who was killed because she was, as I said, she was shot by the Capitol Police. That woman was 35-year-old Ashley Babbitt, who served in the Air Force for 14 years. And apparently after leaving the Air Force, she worked near basically working class San Diego, where she basically was raised. And she was not afraid to express her political views. Like, she literally was not afraid to tell stuff like that. And she was talking so much on her social media. She was talking about like conspiracy theories, tirades against immigration, and so much more. And you can somewhat like find videos and everything some way about the whole incident and everything. So I'm gonna try to see if I can show it to you guys. I'm not gonna try to show the whole thing, but I'm gonna show you like a little bit part of it, okay? So yeah, you can see how chaotic it got out there. And now, with the whole news talking about this, they talk about how Ashley was, Air Force vet and everything some way. However, they forgot a few more things about Ashley. Apparently, they forgot to mention that Ashley has not 1, but 3 restraining orders and has done property destruction. Now, when George Floyd died, they talked about his criminal records and that kind of thing, and all the bad things he's done. But when Ashley died, they talked about her being an Air Force vet. George Floyd did a lot of good things as well, but you just talk about the bad things. See what I'm going with? And throughout this whole thing, a lot of officers, like I said, were working diligently. They were doing all that they can to stop this from happening. They tried to divert the rioters like Officer Eugene Goodman did. He diverted the rioters from the Senate chambers. Now, even though he was a lone officer, I still feel worried about him because he was out there. There was like hundreds of people out, well, dozens, that were getting close to him. But at the same time, I was terrified even watching this video. So you guys gotta check this out. watching that video, it just shows how scary and how crazy those rioters are. I'm glad Officer Goodman got help towards the end of the video, but at the same time, towards the beginning of that, it was just so terrifying and worrisome to see. I've got family who are police officers, and let me tell you, when they go out, I get worried a lot. And Officer Goodman isn't the only officer who was out there, fighting a good fight. Unfortunately, one officer didn't make it the day after this riot. Officer Brian Sicknick passed away Thursday night due to injuries sustained while he was on duty. He was injured while physically engaging with the rioters and collapsed after returning to his division office. He was taken to the local hospital where he succumbed to his injuries, as the Capitol Police said. Now, Officer Sicknick joined the USCP in July of 2008, and most recently he served in the department's first responders unit. Now, with this happening, his death is now being investigated because, again, this was just madness to be had. And to add more to this on the story about the whole riot thing, by mid-afternoon, the National Guard was finally called up to suppress the unrest nearly 2 hours after the first reports of a breach. This after 2 hours? Really? Okay, cool. Okay. I'll get back to that. And then, shortly after both of the chambers were evacuated, Trump tweeted, "I am asking for everyone at the U.S. Capitol to remain peaceful." Okay. Wow. Just wow. Now, he didn't tell his demonstrators to leave the Capitol. No. He didn't say that. But then he did something to add more fuel to that. Just a little bit. It's just more to pile up along with that. He followed up with a recorded message saying, "You have to go home now. We have to have peace. We have to have law and order," as he said, falsely insisting that the election was stolen from us. So this riot happens, and the military is not called until like 2 hours later, and everything is on the way. Black Lives Matter, BLM comes last year at the Capitol. The military is standing outside. It goes to show you how much he cares for this nation. Again, I know a lot of people are going to tell me that I'm wrong, but again, it shows you how much he cares about this nation. And during the whole riot and everything is on the way, I've got a question to all the rioters out there and whatnot. To all the rioters that went out there and thought, when we go out there, everything's going to be peachy, everything's going to be cool and whatnot. Did you know that there is this thing called cameras that record and take pictures of you? Meaning, if you didn't have a mask on, because, Trump was like, COVID is a hoax. A lot of you guys were out there with no mask on. There are images of you on the whole internet doing stupid things. So, there were a lot of arrests that were made out there, and a lot of people were fired from their jobs because of that, such as Jake Angeli. Now, he was arrested. Now, if you don't know who that guy is, he was that idiot Buffalo guy. I'm sorry, he was an idiot for doing that. Apparently, the guy is a failed actor, and he lives with his mother. Yeah. The guy who took Nancy Pelosi's stand, his name is Adam Johnson. And then there's the guy who sat on Pelosi's desk and stole a letter from her desk. That guy's name is Barnett. Sorry, my apologies. And so many more people. Again, you go out there, you don't wear a mask because apparently COVID is a hoax, even though COVID is a real thing and millions of people have died from it. But that's okay. You guys don't care about that. You guys gonna go ride that Capitol Hill, go break whatever you can and steal whatever you can. That's how you do it. No. Just no. Again, Black Lives Matter wouldn't be doing that. They wouldn't be that crazy to do that. But apparently, Trump supporters would. Again, I know people are going to be like, oh, no, we don't do that. Remember this? Look, there's good and there's bad going on in this world, people. And it's not even the first month of 2021. And a lot of craziness just happened. Now, with all of this happening, Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, his baby, his creation, has barred Trump for the rest of his term. So you basically are barring him for like what? Less than 2 weeks? What sense did that make? But that's not all. Facebook is just the top of it. There are so many other digital platforms, including Snapchat, YouTube, Twitch, Reddit, all these other like social media platforms have banned Trump like immediately. Even Pinterest blocked and deleted his account. So if he tries to make a souffle, you ain't getting nothing. Okay? Now, I know a lot of people gonna ask me, Brian, you know, you talk about all this bad stuff and everything going on with the riots and whatnot, but what about free speech and whatnot? You know, where's all that going on? And you are right. There is free speech that goes on. But what happened at the Capitol Hill wasn't free speech. That was vandalism. You know, Trump is all about, you know, let's make America great again. It's not great. For what you did with that, it makes it moronic. You can show and tell how many other nations and countries make fun of us because of things like this. When kids ask, or if kids were watching the news during that time, they're gonna ask us, the adults. They say, "What's going on?" And that's when we actually have to tell them what is happening and what is going to happen for the future. I know if my little cousins ask me, I'm going to tell them. If I have kids and they ask me, I'm going to tell them. You can't just sugarcoat everything, okay? And with all that happening, I want to say a lot of good happened for it. Because Betsy DeVos, the education secretary, she resigned the day after the riot, saying that Trump's role in spearing that mob that breached the U.S. Capitol on Wednesday was the inflection point, making her the second cabinet member to resign over that incident. Here's my thing. Betsy DeVos, you should never have gotten that job in the first place because you have screwed up the education department so much. I know a lot of great teachers that can do way more better at that position. Now again, I said she's not the only cabinet member. Transportation Secretary Elaine Chao announced her resignation early on that Thursday after taking time to absorb what happened at Capitol Hill, and along with many other of its cabinet members. Again, what happened at the Capitol Hill riot? That was just idiotic. I, for one, know that Biden and Harris are going to make a lot of changes for us. And it's going to be tough within the first couple of months. But at the same time, there's going to be a lot going on. You guys think that it's all fun and games until, you know, this is shown on the news. That was not fun at all. And I have so much more to say about that. But again, I cannot wait for all this to be over. Now, it won't be over, but I just can't wait for Trump to be out of office. Now, I'm going to be watching the inauguration for Biden and Harris, and I know most of the past presidents are going to be there, except for the Carters, because they're in their 90s and, you know, they wouldn't wish Biden and Harris from afar. Trump, if he wants to go play golf during the inauguration, he can go play golf during the inauguration. But again, what happened on that day wasn't patriotic. It was idiotic. It was moronic. It makes no sense for us to even have that happen. It's going to be in the history books. You're going to see so many images and so many videos talking about this. But at the same time, there is so much to be dealt with this. And for me, man, I kept my cool somewhat throughout this whole thing, but at the same time, I'm just like infuriated with it. But I am happy because of what's to come. So, with that being said, you guys, what are your thoughts about what happened on that day? If you live near the Capitol and you saw this kind of thing, what are your thoughts? You know, if you're mad at me about the whole thing, if you think, oh, you know, you want to say something about this, let me know in the comment section below, okay? I want to know because I'm out there getting the information for everybody. All right? Like, share, comment, subscribe. Let the people know I am out there for y'all because I'm out there getting the word out, getting the news, so that way you guys know. Before I forget, I want to thank the owners of Waffles and Dreams. They are two ladies who I know and love. They made me this dope t-shirt that has, I don't know if you can see it, but it has my D&D character's name on there. His name is Drake. He's a rogue. But yeah, they made this t-shirt for me, so it's really cool. So if you guys want to check out their Etsy, I will put the link down below. But again, you guys, I hope you all have a lovely day. I love all y'all so much. Peace out.